What's happening? Welcome to the lab. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. Good to see you. Good to be here. Thank you. And we got a special guest. First time on the lab, not to the lab networks. My friend, my little brother, Trevor Lee. What's up, Trevor?
Hey, Josh. Good to see you. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Of course, man. Thank you for coming on. And I've been following your coverage of young Sebastian's case, and I know that it's this one's a real stumper, you know, because I've dug into it as much as well, I wouldn't say as much as anybody. I'm fairly new to the facts of the case, and so that's a big reason of having you. And another reason of having you is just because, well, I like you, and you do good work.
Well, I appreciate it. It's an honor to be on the lab.
Oh, I appreciate that too. Appreciate you saying that. And so, anyway, I say we just get into it. You know, I kept the audience waiting long enough because my internet decided to spin some more. So Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Tell me a little bit about this case. We got a 15-year-old boy who goes missing. Tell me where and under the circumstances.
Yeah, so the morning of Monday, February 26th, Sebastian was reported missing from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, which is in Sumner County, Tennessee. And he is high-functioning autistic. He went missing. He was reported missing between midnight and 6:30 when his mom went to go get him up for school.
And just like that, nothing, no trace, no nothing.
Zero. There was no finding of a scent trail, no camera footage of him, nothing. He just vanished.
Right. Wow. So while, you know, and I'm sure that it fits into the story somehow, the part of him being a high functioning autistic child, as somebody who's not clinically, you know, I would say I'm not qualified to talk about autism. However, I do understand that autism is one of the widest ranging, you know, it's got this wide range. Each case is different, so it's hard to even speculate. The only person or people that would really know much about that are the parents and friends and family, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that fair to say here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've worked with a few kids on the spectrum, and there's no one case is the same as the other. And I am not one to be able to speak on it either, but especially because autism, I mean, it's truly a spectrum. You can fall in anywhere on that spectrum, and their abilities are all differing based on their specific case.
And I'm gonna react a little bit to the interview given by the stepdad and the bio mom, and then we'll listen to a little bit of what the bio dad has to say as well. But one of the things that I did find interesting, and I'm not here to point fingers, I don't know what happened or anything like that, and it would be irresponsible of me to point fingers. However, you know, so you have stepdad here. He says that he was working 3 hours away. As far as you know, do you know if he's given a time when he left for work that morning? Because 3.5 hours is quite a trek.
Yeah, I have not heard when he left for work. I'm sure they're pinning that down now, but I haven't heard him publicly say when he left.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, if he, say he had to be to work at 6:30, he would need to leave at 3:30. But so vanished without a trace. We got no trace of Sebastian at all. He left without his shoes.
Yes, so the belief is he is without shoes because all of his shoes are accounted for in the house. That's how that determination was made.
Right. Right. Okay. That's interesting. All right. Let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of this interview, and then we can react to that. So we'll share this.
Exclusively how they feel on day 8 of their son's disappearance. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Marius Payton.
And I'm Laura Lowry. Sebastian Rogers is 15. He was last seen by his parents on February 25th in Hendersonville. Sebastian has autism, and he's gone without his medication this whole time. And since then, authorities have searched by air, by foot, and on horseback.
Helicopters, drones, and dive teams have also been brought in to try to find him. Today, his parents spoke exclusively to our Holly Thompson.
She's live tonight in Sumner County. Holly, I imagine it was quite an emotional interview.
Certainly was. It is hard for any of us to imagine the emotions that this family is going through right now. But we know one thing is certain. They remain positive. They are holding on to hope that their son Sebastian will return home safely.
Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at.
Mom Katie broke down several times in our interview, but says her hope is strong that her son Sebastian will be found safe and return home.
He's going to walk through that door, and this street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug and love him. And
Stepdad Chris says it's been an emotional roller coaster that all started Sunday night, February 25th.
Pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you."
Katie says she went to wake up Sebastian around 6 a.m. Monday for school, and he was gone. Within minutes, Katie says she was on the phone with Chris, who was working out of town, and they quickly called 911.
And he's not a runner. He's never run away before.
That what does she mean by that? He's not a runner. That meaning he's just never ran away from home before?
Yeah, I think so, because a lot of times you'll find in children who are on the spectrum as they elope, and so they just take off from somewhere they're at, whether they're like with a group or with their family or whatever. So I think to me, it sounds like she's saying he doesn't have a history of that.
Gotcha.
I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means.
Katie and Chris say Sebastian is not on social media. While he loves to play Minecraft, they tell me he does not have any online capabilities. I asked if there was any reason he might want to leave.
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I don't.
And just so people know, I'm fairly new to the facts of this case. I've been paying a little bit of attention to what Trevor had been doing and talking about, but I am, I'm pretty much coming in halfway on this. So a lot of this is new to me, and so I'll be reacting kind of, I guess you could say fresh.
I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking.
It's as if Sebastian vanished. No sign of him on any video throughout the community. Thousands of miles logged by law enforcement, canines, helicopters, even dive teams, and no sign of him. Chris and Katie tell me they've been harassed, people pointing fingers at them.
You're not in this situation. You don't quite understand. I wish people would step back, take a different wide open view, and not assume what they know. It's
So let me just say this first and foremost is that, you know, people are going to be suspicious of the parents, right or wrong, good or bad. It's just how it happens. However, law enforcement has said that they are not suspects. Biodad is not a suspect, and these two are not suspects as of now. The circumstances are suspicious, and that is going to cause suspicion no matter what.
just better to stick to the facts.
Are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that mom, myself, and the father have worked very fully and cooperatively with all agencies across the board. We have anything that they've wanted, we have provided.
What do you want to say to Sebastian? What do you want him to hear from you right now?
That we love you so much and we want you to come home and you're not in trouble.
Now, Katie did tell me that even though Sebastian does have autism, he is a smart teenager. He is highly functional. They say if you see him, say his name, say Sebastian, and he'll respond. He'll at least acknowledge you. And I can tell you, this is my home. This is my community. And the people here are strong. They say they will continue to search. They will continue to hope and continue to pray for Sebastian's safe return. And by the way, you can watch my full exclusive interview with Sebastian's parents on our WSMV.
When I served, my
live
work
here in
was critical,
Hendersonville. Holly Thompson,
and I don't
WSMV
feel like
4.
that's
Back
the case anymore.
God forbid that I'll be
Whatever you do, all the fun.
Something outside that could
Wow, that was interesting.
Kevin Bacon is a gentle giant.
Kevin
He's a
Bacon.
450-pound
Do you
pig
hear this?
who loves
What is
taking
happening?
walks, meeting new
I have
people,
no idea.
and more than anything,
So stupid.
eating donuts. Brighton resident Jake Mulgard
Oh my God. Hold on.
that came to mind.
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking. Everyone we were around that day agreed that he seemed like he was in a good mood. He was behaving. It'd make more sense if we'd been fighting.
Or he'd been in trouble, but he hadn't been in trouble. So, I mean, the $1 million question, why did he go? And the other $1 million question is how.
What about social media? Is there anything that, anyone he could have contacted? I understand he was somewhat of a gamer, or what was he? There was a video game he loved, right?
Minecraft. He
yeah.
loves Minecraft. The game that he has is not online. He has the Switch.
We don't, because of how social media can be, he doesn't have accessibility to communicate with folks
On the internet.
on internet. I mean, we have a firm belief that we just don't feel that right now he's capable of having that kind of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, his phone is locked down, his computers, his gaming. He doesn't have a gamer tag. He doesn't have online capabilities with games.
So so this is going to be an issue for the search as well. It doesn't seem like he has much of a digital footprint. Would you agree with that, Trevor?
Yeah, it sounds like he's got little to none.
And just like in children's cases, even though this boy is 15 and they worry about his internet use, they don't seem to let him connect with the outside world. And, that's their decision. And as parents, I'm not going to question that, but it's going to make it just makes everything even more difficult. I mean, we talk about little kids, going missing, and, they don't have credit cards. They don't have cell phones. They don't have cars. They don't have anything. So
And he does have a phone, but it's got like 3 capabilities. It has a contacts page, a calculator, and a camera, but he left it at the house.
Okay.
I mean,
we've combed every electronic.
I mean, we've cooperated with all the authorities as far as anything they've asked us to provide, we've provided, and still just don't have any answers.
Did he have any friends that could have possibly contacted him in some way on his phone?
All his friends at school have been questioned to my knowledge, and none of them knew anything.
So this big question mark. He's vanished.
Yes, ma'am.
And no one can figure out where or why. All right. So let's talk too about the relationship involved, because the biological father is very much involved in Sebastian's life as well.
Yes, ma'am. Very much.
Right. And how would you describe that relationship, the two of them and the 4 of you?
It's relatively good. I mean, we talk regularly. He talks to his son on a regular basis, sees him on a regular basis. He's involved in school and therapy. And I mean, he doesn't have any extracurricular activities, but I can tell you now, if he did, his dad would be in the front row.
In 2 different households, and the communication between the 3 of us is great. I mean, yes, we're just like every parent. We all have our disagreements, but in the end, we come together as a team and we work and we come up with solutions that as we best see fit. I mean, I'm almost in contact with him almost daily.
It would be interesting to know if that relationship is as solid as he's portraying. I'm not a body language expert. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. However, it seems to me that the mother, who won't even seem to acknowledge the stepdad, and he's not even attempting to comfort her, seemingly probably because it doesn't seem like she's too interested in engaging with him. Am I reading too much into that?
No, that's exactly what I took away when I first saw this. And it's interesting you bring up the point of their communication between the 2 of them and the biological father, because I believe in his interview, which I know we're going to get to, I think he comments on that, either that or in another time when he was interviewed by a reporter, he does comment on that, and it's interesting to hear.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of these kinds of interviews before, and there's no loving embrace, and maybe that's just how they are. I don't know, but it seems, look, she could not believe him, he could not believe her, or they could just be in shock. This was 9 days?
Yeah, this was a ways after, because they didn't speak to anybody. Then they went and went on YouTube, and then they did this interview. So it had been a bit, which I know, not that that's a crazy amount of time, but it wasn't like the day after.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Sebastian. Tell me about Sebastian. How would you describe him?
Sweet, stubborn. He loves to help. He loves running, and he loves to play his games and his fidgets and Uno. Lord, that's one of his favorite games right now.
Uno is good stuff. You get one of those reverse 4 cards. Oh man.
Favorite color is green.
Does he love music?
Oh, he loves music.
An eclectic taste. I mean, from as everybody knows, Eye of the Tiger to Eddie Vedder.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we got Pearl Jam on one hand, we've got Survivor on the other over here. We've got Taylor Swift, and
he's got a big crush on her. I mean, country, rock.
No
classic.
hip hop. We don't allow the hip hop.
Well, he doesn't really get into it anyways.
Rap and things.
You mentioned he loved running. So did he love?
We don't allow hip hop.
That.
Thank you for That's going to help in the search.
The outdoors
Stay away from the hip hop areas.
at
Yep,
all?
key
I
key
mean,
information.
Being outside that was somewhat outdoors.
My guess is he doesn't like hip hop.
Or is he be enticing to
So-
him or pull him outdoors?
He loves, like, when we were in California and the school had this lap thing to gain money. It was a fundraiser, and every year I did this many laps. I did this many laps. I mean, I've got T-shirts where they would write on his back every time the kids went around. They'd mark a mark on the back, and they'd keep running. And he just had marks all the way across his back. He likes playgrounds. He hates being dirty. He
Hates
don't like
being
being
dirty.
dirty.
Yeah, he's not your tomboy style child where he goes outside and plays in the mud.
He loves animals, but he's terrified of bugs.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
even a fly, and he's like, oh!
When I served, my work was critical,
What happened?
and I don't feel like that's the case anymore.
That part ended.
It got so bad that I was even thinking about suicide.
Whatever you're dealing with, call the Veterans Crisis Line.
Well, let's talk too, because he's highly functioning. I know you all have described him as having a form of autism,
He does.
but just describe that to our viewers too, as far as his way of thinking of things and maybe how determined he was about certain things or his mindset.
He's
got a stubborn mindset. If he believes it's this,
he gets on a one-man track, and he is just
Yeah.
on it, and he is all about it.
but I mean, he's very smart.
He's
I mean,
smart.
he can play chess. He can beat adults in chess.
Wow.
So he's
He loves playing games.
What about navigation? Like, did he have a sense of direction? Do you think he could have possibly even hitched a ride or gotten a ride on a bus or some sort of
transportation? That is a speculation that we don't have an answer for. Just
I mean-
directionally, he knows he could guide you from our house to his dad's house.
Yeah.
He could get from like this house. I think he can make it up to Culver's ice cream.
He can go to Culver's.
Oh, boy loves
He
a
knows
malt.
where Culver's is because Culver's has malt.
Uh-huh.
He loves malt, extra malt.
Mm.
Every time, extra malt.
Now, how far away does his dad live?
Clarksville. His dad lives up by Clarksville.
So he could guide someone all the way.
How far is that, Trevor?
About an hour.
Okay, so and what does Bio Dad do for a living?
He's a sheriff's deputy with a local county there.
Oh, wow. Okay. So a pretty keen sense of direction, at least with certain things.
Familiar routes.
Yes.
Familiar routes. Okay.
Familiar
I
routes.
mean, if I took him another route going
He
this way,
takes
he would
it.
not know it.
He goes up there so often that he
He
knows
knows.
he knows how to get to his daddy's. We know that.
His dad works with him as far as, well, we're going this way, we're going that way, and
Mhm.
Mhm.
keeps the same thing, and it works out.
Mhm.
So
Let's talk too, because earlier, Chris, you and I were talking, and you were saying that there are a lot of people who are harassing both of you. What of any of that do you want to address? What do you want to say to any of these people?
Just that you don't know, and I don't wish you to ever know.
I would say it like this: everybody has an opinion, and it's perfectly okay to have that opinion. But
By the way, can you please, if you guys haven't, drop Trevor's channel link in the chat? He has done a great job covering this case, and make sure to check his stuff out.
Thank you.
you're not in this situation. You don't quite understand. I wish people would step back, take a different wide open view, and not assume what they know. It's just better to stick to the facts. If they have questions, all they have to do is ask.
And I pray genuinely that no one ever goes through this.
Just be kind to people. I mean, it's real simple.
There are some people who have been talking, because I know this is part of the harassment. Is there anything you want to address about this child custody situation with the previous?
So I have a current case that is ongoing in another state. We've requested that case to be sealed because there are some individuals who have taken upon themselves to put stuff out there that they don't quite know, which all they have to do is ask. I'll tell you.
Here's the problem with this part, Trevor, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on that too. Now's the time to be completely transparent. If it has nothing to do with anything, and I understand him wanting his business to be private, but you have a missing child that vanished out of your home, and people are going to speculate. They're going to speculate about things that they have no business speculating about, but it's just the nature of the beast. And I find it interesting, that he says, we want it sealed, but all they have to do is ask. And she just asked, did she not?
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you, that this is not the time to hide anything because you open the door for people to question when you hide stuff. And people have found that court case because it's public record. You can simply go to the New Mexico court site and look up his name. It's not like people stole some court documents or something or leaked them. This was completely public record. And the odd thing is, I was talking with a friend of mine who's an attorney, and it seems to them like he's not even it seems like his ex-wife is the one that's filing all the motions and drawing this out because this custody case is on year 7.
I mean, the kid's going to be 18.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But then wanting it sealed up, then you have to wonder what part of it is he worried about, because it doesn't show, like, you can't see the documents. It just shows you the docket, like the list of things that have happened, who's filed what it's been filed. Half the people that read that don't even know what it means. And the people that do, it just tells you what's public record. It's not like a bunch of secret documents or anything.
Right. So, and like you said, I'm sure he doesn't want people in his business, and understood, but I mean, you're kind of past that point right now.
And that should be the least of your concerns at this point, in my opinion.
I would think so.
But because of that, it has nothing to do with our son. It has nothing to do with the situation. I just, people would respect that and then keep an open mind. It's totally different.
If Sebastian was able to watch this, and maybe he's watching this as it airs, and if he is, what do you want to say to Sebastian? What do you want him to hear from you right now?
Oh gosh, that we love you so much and we want you to come home and you're not in trouble.
Mom does not have a good handle on this situation. I mean, she seems completely in the dark and completely lost. He may too, but he seems to be he's the calmer of the two, right? I mean, for whatever reason, maybe it's just personality, I don't know, but she seems completely lost to me.
Yeah, and just for reference for people, this is their second interview technically, because they did the one on YouTube. This is their first time with the news, but they have kind of shifted their they had an interview to base off of before they went on the news.
Yeah.
I guarantee you he is loved. And trust me, the open arms are waiting for him to come home. From every parent to every family members to probably everyone in the community. But there's no malice, so we just want our boy home. Badly. But
That mama's heart, I know it's daddy's too, but I feel like there's always that extra special bond. Can you walk us through what you're thinking right now?
I just want my baby to be okay. I don't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at.
Let's talk about the community because I want you all to know.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's not even comforting her. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's just their relationship. I don't know. I don't want to speculate too far, but I mean, she looks like she could use a hand to hold or a, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I feel like we see that too in a lot of these situations when a couple is speaking out about, say, their child. We see that. There's one of the families. It's noted. I know people were comparing it to in the Idaho 4. One of the families was quite the opposite. They were consoling each other throughout their interview, and then you have here it's quite the opposite.
I mean, she doesn't want to look at him, or it's not that she doesn't want to look at him, but she's not looking at him. Nothing.
Even my church.
He's looking at her, but she's, maybe she's just tunnel vision. I don't know.
I mean, we're all praying. We're all praying for his safe return quickly. What do you all want to say to the community?
Thank you.
With everything from the bottom of our hearts. I would not have imagined how far this has gotten, but there's no way to repay the gratitude, the love that we've felt from the community, the prayers. But thank you.
But
from the
don't
bottom of our
stop
hearts.
looking.
Yeah, please.
My son is somewhere.
This ain't over until he's home.
I think there's one more part, correct?
Yes. And I found it interesting the way he refers to Sebastian.
Yeah. Let's mention
in the initial interview he did on when he was on YouTube, he seemed very detached. It was like the boy, and then when he described the situation with his wife, when he talked about like her calling him and things like that, he referred to as the mother, or for her as the mother. So it was just interesting that he was speaking as if he was a fly on the wall. It just was.
Well, he is kind of odd man out, meaning, he's not the biological father, but I mean, he is the father in the home because it sounds like bio dad gets the child every other weekend.
Yeah.
Which is not often at all.
The search itself, because we know thousands of miles have basically been traced and retraced. We've got hundreds, we've got volunteers, we've got law enforcement from within the state, from without, outside of the state. I mean, do you feel like they're doing as much as they can? I mean, you all have been right there in the front seat, seeing everything that's underway.
As far as I know, they're doing everything. Anything and everything has been an option. They have brought in assets and resources from various counties, potentially other states. I mean, I don't know how much more they could do, but we're grateful for everything they have done.
They're amazing, but they still haven't brought my baby back.
They will. They will.
He's out there somewhere. So it's one day at a time, getting through this.
I mean, she won't even look him in the eyes, bro.
And bringing him home.
I mean, he is trying to comfort her. And maybe that, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just looking, and I don't know.
What is the reaction?
Kids don't just vanish without a trace.
Well, that's what it comes down to. I mean, these, their demeanor, none of that says definite guilt, but you can definitely point out that it's odd. I mean, at the very least, it's odd.
And the fact that, he's walked out the front door without shoes, autistic or not. I mean, who does that?
Yeah, he hates getting dirty, so it'd be odd for him to go out without shoes. He wouldn't wear shoes, but he would remember to lock the door behind him because she talked about the door being locked. And then, of course, we have the fact of no scent trail. And I mean,
Mhm.
like I said, you can go back and forth about body language or statements or anything like that, but I mean, there's science behind a scent tracking. I mean, these dogs are good at what they do. This is, this is a they use this in cases. I mean, this is how they find people. So the
Sure.
fact that there was zero scent trail is just what's so odd to me.
I mean, and to me, that would indicate that he got into a vehicle.
Very
I mean,
early on, though, too, you would think.
yeah. And Susie Akers says, my husband acts the same way, doesn't comfort when he is not able to fix it. I mean, I can understand that, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
To the fact that somehow his image, he hasn't been captured on any video anywhere.
I know that it was very dark that night. I mean, it gets dark around here at night in general, but so far we haven't found him on any camera footage to prove where he's at or where he's gone. I know that they're looking, and I'm asking everybody and anybody that has cameras, trail cams, stores, to check even from before he went missing, just to see if there's anything at all.
And once again, to reiterate, they have not been named suspects in the case. At this point, they're parents looking for their missing child. That's how law enforcement is operating. But once again, that will not stop the onslaught of public opinion until there's either a suspect or a decent lead. Like I said, kids just do not disappear.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when they moved to an investigation, it got real quiet. They were giving you were getting a lot more updates when it was a search effort. But then a few days ago, when they announced that they would be scaling back the search and moving to an investigation, it got really quiet. We haven't heard from law enforcement since. So people are speculating, are they still cooperating now that it's an investigation? We haven't heard that they're not, but we haven't heard anything, so that's also heats up speculation when there's no real updates to go off of.
Tell me about the interview that, well, we'll get to that in a
I
minute.
understand there was a request for video, any sort of footage of Sebastian from earlier in the day on Sunday before he disappeared.
That I don't believe we can comment on right now. That is not something that I believe we're privy to at this point with law enforcement. That is something I would definitely direct back to them. But I mean, there's all kinds of requests out there. There's thousands of hours of video that they are combing, and we're just hoping they'll find something.
And I know this is so sensitive. What do you say to people who inevitably end up pointing their finger back at you? We were talking earlier, and I mean, are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that Mom, myself, and the father have worked very fully and cooperatively with all agencies across the board. We have anything that they've wanted,
if I may,
we've provided.
Yeah, of course.
That's a shift from when he was on. It's interesting because when he was on the YouTube interview, he stated that they were clear, that they were cleared by law. They were checked out and cleared. It's just interesting now because when she asks, he does say they're cooperating, but he doesn't say this time he doesn't use the words that they're cleared.
Yeah, they're not cleared. They're not cleared. I mean, how could they be? Nobody knows anything.
Right.
So, but if he's telling the truth and it seems as though that they are cooperating, right? I mean, or they had been fully cooperating. I mean, is that the feeling?
Yes. Back when law enforcement was speaking more, they said that the family is fully cooperating. And at that time, they said they had no indication of foul play. And then they moved to an investigation. They also didn't say what that investigation, they didn't say they were looking towards abduction, foul play. I think it's just an overall investigation. I think it's really just, we have to find out what happened to him. We haven't found him, and we need to find out what happened, whether that is foul play, abduction, you name it. That's what I think the investigation is for.
There's a very telling part coming up here too, as well. You probably know what I'm talking about, but we'll let it play out.
So cooperation is there. I mean,
What do you want to say to our viewers, anybody who's watching, we've got a lot of folks in this community and in other counties just throughout the state as well. What do you want to say to them?
Help spread the word and keep searching, and thank you. And just if you think you see him, call him in.
Thank all the viewers, everybody that's helped from across the board. I mean, everybody has been tremendous.
Call his name.
Yeah.
He'll answer, and if he doesn't answer, he'll look, even if he's not being verbal at the moment, because he can talk, but sometimes he don't talk. Call his name. Tell him to stay put.
And he could be on the move, so keep checking your properties.
Yes. Like, the search is never over until he comes home. That is for sure.
So smart.
But thank you for everything that everybody has done, has volunteered, the continuous efforts. I mean, it's, like I said, I've never seen something to this magnitude before.
Our community is amazing.
We're all praying and hoping and searching for Sebastian's safe return for that day. Thank you both for talking with me.
Did we miss the part where they talked about the day before? The camera footage the day before?
Where they said they couldn't talk about it?
Yeah, did we miss that part?
I think it was on this clip.
I missed it.
I think that was when he said he's directing
Unbelievable.
the news to law enforcement.
1 second to go. Time moment here. Canada needs to be careful. Just get it back here again. Oh, he's crashed.
So we have, let's mention, let's get on the search itself, because we know thousands of miles have basically been traced and retraced. We've got hundreds, we've got volunteers, we've got law enforcement from within the state, from without, outside of the state. I mean,
yeah, he said they're not privy to that information like the day before that. So now they're looking at the circumstances leading up to the disappearance of Sebastian, correct?
Yeah, and that's an interesting comment that he's not privy to it, because again, before he said he just couldn't comment on that. Now he's not privy to. I mean, there's a difference between we know and we can't tell the public, or we're not allowed to know.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's a big difference. If they won't tell you, there's a reason, because if not, if it's just a search, I have no reason to believe they won't keep the family clued in on them trying to look, unless there's a side of them wanting to, make sure that these people are in the clear before they give them every detail.
Right. Gotcha.
And I mean, you all have been right there in the front seat, seeing everything that's underway.
As far as I know, they're doing everything. Anything and everything has been an option. They have brought in assets and resources from various counties, potentially other states. I mean, I don't know how much more they could do, but we're grateful for everything they have done.
They're amazing, but they still haven't brought my baby back.
They will. They will.
He's out there somewhere. So it's one day at a time, getting through this and bringing him home. Yeah. What is the reaction to the fact that somehow his image, he hasn't been captured on any video anywhere?
I know that it was very dark that night. I mean, it gets dark around here at night in general, but so far we haven't found him on any camera footage to prove where he's at or where he's gone. I know that they're looking, and I went asking everybody and anybody that has cameras, trail cams, stores, to check, even from before he went missing, just to see if there's anything at all.
And I understand there was a request for video, any sort of footage of Sebastian from earlier in the day on Sunday before he disappeared?
That I don't believe we can comment on right now. I don't.
So I mean that is interesting because he kind of dug in like and I mean you don't have to be an expert to know that there's something about that question that
Does he just say we can't comment on it, or does he also say they're not privy to it?
he says both.
That is not something that I believe we're privy to at this point.
I think he said pervy too, but he meant privy.
Law enforcement, that is something I would definitely direct back to them. But I mean, there's all kinds of requests out there. There's thousands of hours of video that they are combing, and we're just hoping they'll find something.
And I know this is so sensitive. What do you say to people who inevitably end up pointing their finger back at you? We were talking earlier, and I mean, are you both in the clear?
I can tell you that Mom, myself, and the father have worked very fully and cooperatively with all agencies across the board. We have anything that they've wanted, we have provided. So cooperation.
Judy Ellis, wow, the same was said about Cleo's mom. She was accused of rocking and that she didn't seem trustworthy. Sorry, but we don't know what happened, so we should try to lift her up right now. First of all, nobody, I am in no way, shape, or form accusing these two of doing anything because I have no idea.
No, absolutely. There's not enough to tell.
But it's a suspicious situation. I mean, it just is. What are you going to do about it?
I think it's all the factors too. You know, if it was like just the rocking or just this, I mean, I think we're looking at the overall, you know, their demeanor and that, but also you're looking at 0 cent tracks, you're looking at 0 camera. I think all of it together is what makes it suspicious. It's not just one little thing.
Yeah, I mean, the kid vanished without a trace. The child is young Sebastian, who's 15 years old. A special needs child who takes medicine, who seems to be in constant communication with, parents or whoever's in charge. And it's suspicious. I mean, the circumstances of him disappearing are suspicious. I'm not saying that they're suspicious. I don't know anything about these two. I have no clue. I haven't dug into their past. I'm sure people are. I'm sure you dig deep enough, you find something, and then you would go, yeah, that is a red flag. The biggest red flag that I've seen out of this is just him saying, that that he wants his other case sealed because it has nothing to do with this case. And while I do understand that aspect of it, saying that is going to signal a lot of people to go, well, what's he talking about there? Why now?
Is there? I mean,
they're divorcing? Are they really? Is that true?
No, I don't think so. The court document, including a divorce, is from his ex-wife.
Yeah. Oh, so okay, got you.
What do you want to say to our viewers? Anybody who's watching, we've got a lot of folks in this community and in other counties just throughout the state as well. What do you want to say to them?
Help spread the word and keep searching, and thank you. And just if you think you see him, call him in.
Thank all the viewers, everybody that's helped from across the board. I mean, everybody has been tremendous.
Call his name.
Yeah.
He'll answer, and if he doesn't answer, he'll look, even if he's not being verbal at the moment, because he can talk, but sometimes he don't talk.
Yeah. How long is the Biodad's interview?
It's shorter. It was just a phone interview.
Okay,
There's a very interesting question though that he's asked, and you'll hear it when it gets to it, but that he declines to give any answer on at all.
Gotcha. this is the pilot interview, fun interview.
If you could just first, I mean, as his father, tell me a little bit about your son.
He's got a big heart. He's loving. You know, he's inquisitive. He can be stubborn at times. He loves to play video games. He loves animals. I mean, he thoroughly loves animals. He likes plants. He likes to, grow things. He likes to take care of things.
He does look a lot like his dad.
He loves his video games. Boy, the kid loves his video games.
What has the last week been like for you as a father?
My heart is missing somewhere out here, and I'm just trying to find him. Yeah, I don't know where he's at. I can't find you.
And when was the last time you got to see Sebastian?
Last time he was at my house. So I was supposed to have him last weekend, and it would have been 2 weekends prior. He was at my house, and I got to see him. We got to play video games, watch TV. Had a great weekend.
And I mean, obviously, it seems like, what has it been like working with law enforcement? Have they been great, trying to help you with this search?
They're definitely doing everything that they can to find my son, and I thoroughly appreciate it. And I hope that they find him every day. I'm waking up hoping that they find him.
And obviously, so he's autistic. Are there any tendencies that he may have? Like, does he like hanging out in the trees or by water that could maybe help people find him?
He does like creeks. I mean, he loves to go fishing with me. But if he's in the city limits, he's, video games.
What? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I know that this is coming up and he hasn't said it yet, but I found this one, it's truly heartbreaking when he says, what would you say to him? And he says, just run. If somebody took you, run.
Yeah.
He'd probably be, maybe an arcade or something.
Okay. And has he ever done something like this before? Just leave the house for a short period of time or anything like that?
No.
And I mean, how much sleep have you lost over this last week? Walk me through kind of what that experience has been.
I haven't had very much sleep at all. I mean, coffee and energy drinks is my main diet has been.
Yeah. And I know you said you were out there searching. Are there any particular places that you're looking that you think he might be at?
I'm looking everywhere. I'm not from this area, so I don't know it. So I'm just everywhere. I keep telling people, keep your head up and your eyes open. If you see him, call 911. If my son hears my voice, buddy, you need to get a phone and call 911,
Definitely. And you live in Clarksville, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But you've been out here in the Hendersonville area just searching for him the last week?
Every day.
And I guess, are you in close contact with his mother and stepfather about the situation?
Not really. I mean, we're in communication at least once a day, but that's about it. Okay. I'm looking for him,
Yeah. And
that's interesting. Not really. What do you say to that, Trevor?
Yeah. That's odd.
I know, obviously with social media, it's tough because as a parent, you just want your kid home, but there's been a lot of speculation too about possible criminal investigations. I mean, what's kind of your reaction to all of that chatter on social media?
I don't have social media, man.
Okay. But just hearing people kind of speculate about that in the community, I guess, how does that make you feel?
I think they need to, instead of being keyboard warriors, they need to put feet on the ground and start looking for my son. If they really want to help, that's what they should be doing instead of coming up with their own opinion. How about I get out there and we find my son?
And how much does your son Sebastian mean to you?
He's my life.
Do you have any other kids?
No, ma'am.
It's hard to believe that these are like real reporters sometimes.
And I guess, is there, anything you want to say? I don't know how well you know the stepfather or the mother, but is there anything you'd like to say about that and that situation and how he just kind of disappeared from the house?
I have nothing to say about that.
Right there.
And if you could say something to Sebastian and how he just kind of, and I guess, is there, anything you want to say? I don't know how well you know the stepfather or the mother, but is there anything you'd like to say about that and that situation and how he just kind of disappeared from the house?
I have nothing to say about that.
Okay. And if,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I get that's a tough one because I get there's all different dynamics between co-parenting when you're divorced. I know there's all different, and I'm not expecting him to like go to bat behind her, but he probably knows that people are immediately looking at mom and stepdad.
Mhm.
So, if he really believed that they were good and that he's like, I thought maybe he would at least say something along the lines of, well, Katie's a good mom, or, his mom's great, or, if he really is close with the stepdad, like the stepdad makes it seem, he'd be like, his stepdad is really good to him, or this, that, and the other. He had zero comment about either of them.
One of the things that I listened when Dr. Gary was talking the other day is, when he said, we all come together, we're all on the same page, we're all this, we're all that. And it was like the stepdad was trying to paint this rosy picture of this throuple, kind of thing where, and I'm not saying that they don't co-parent well or whatever, but it seems like the stepdad's the one that's really trying to bring everybody together by the way that he says it. It's like, well, we all work really hard together. I'm not getting that vibe from Seth Rogers. I'm just not. And, I'm sure that there are troubles in everybody, like in everybody's relationships and split households and things like that. But he doesn't, to me, it just doesn't feel like the father feels the same.
and how much does your son Sebastian mean to you?
Oh my God.
He's not.
It's the stupidest question I've ever heard. I've heard some dumb questions, dude.
Do you have any other kids?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And I guess, is there, anything you want to say? I don't know how well you know the stepfather or the mother, but is there anything you'd like to say about that and that situation and how he just kind of disappeared from the house?
I have nothing to say about that.
Okay. And if you could say something to Sebastian right now, what would you say?
If you are hearing this, son, you need to tell people who you are and tell them to call 911 for you. You need to tell people that you are Sebastian Rogers and that you need them to call 911.
And anything you'd like to tell him about returning home?
By the way, that is fantastic advice. It really is.
Yeah.
Because if it's not the parents that he's lives with permanently, that they had nothing to do with this, and nothing is suggesting that they do at this point, other than conjecture and speculation. it's very unlikely that this young man just walked off, okay, barefoot in and without a trace. Um, they have trackers that track Arctic wolves 60 miles into the mountains because they're killing their chickens. You know what I'm saying? And they can track them down.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem likely that the kid just made away on foot and say just say that an animal, God forbid, there's they'd be able to find something somewhere. Just they have nothing. I mean, the boy has vanished off the face of the earth. Somebody said, was it raining that day? Do you know if
No.
it was? No.
No, the rain hadn't. It was actually clear for a few days, and then the rain came in, and that's when people were even more worried about him after he was missing.
Yeah, and so they would have gotten a scent. I would think they would have gotten a scent. I mean, and he could have been abducted. I mean, that's true too.
Yep.
He absolutely could have by a stranger. I mean, this is a residential neighborhood. Who knows?
Yeah, and I respect also Dad's open to everything. I feel like he's 100% focused on talking about Sebastian. He won't even, he talked about people being keyboard warriors, but not once did he go, I'm a great, he didn't try to defend himself against comments, and he seems to be open to everything. He did another interview with Nick Barris from News 5, and he's quoted as saying, it doesn't make, he's saying it doesn't make any sense. He said, nothing is adding up. He said, I don't know what is going on. Is there foul play? I don't know. That's what this biological dad said. Is there foul play? I don't know.
Right. And somebody's saying that this is, and I don't know if this is true, and I'm going to run it by you here, Trevor. Is it true that this is the biological dad's fifth marriage, or the stepdad's fifth marriage?
People have dug that up. I've seen somebody gave a list. Apparently this is his fifth marriage. I don't know. I haven't seen like proof of that, but people dug that up.
Fifth marriage. I mean, that's just, it doesn't prove anything, but that's a lot of marriages.
Well, his top following on the first thing you see when you look at his following on Facebook is a hookup site.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just keep my mouth shut about that. So it's fifth marriages. He's like Ross on Friends.
I miss you, buddy.
That's terrible.
And I'm waiting. I want to hear from you.
This poor dad. Gosh.
Okay.
All right.
I might run so we can find you, man. Come on, son.
That's a plea. That is an absolute heartfelt plea.
100%.
The 5 marriages thing threw me off, man. It really does. I don't know why. That's a lot of people to not be compatible with after marrying. And
he's also not like 60 or 70 years old. Like yeah, he's been, there's no pace to this.
Oh, dude. It's like, what is it? Liz Taylor, Kim Kardashian status. That's a lot.
Yeah. That poor dad, though. I mean, that was, like you said, that's a true plea. And like I said, he focused on Sebastian that entire interview. I mean, you can tell he's hurting. I don't see anything odd from, his comments or anything. He seems 100% heartfelt.
Yeah. So dad has not said, or stepdad has not said when he left for work that day, but he said that he was working in Memphis on the St. Jude's project. Is that what he said?
Yes, I believe so. He contracts construction type work.
So he's a crane operator. So he would have been up very early that morning. And my guess is that they have expanded this search, and they're retracing this man's steps. They would have to, everybody's. But for him to have to go that far early that morning, and then Sebastian just happens to come up vanishing, is going to be suspicious in and of itself. But once again, it's important to note that dad, mom, and stepdad have not been named suspects or persons of interest in the eyes of law enforcement. I understand that, you know, when we present these kinds of cases and we talk about them, that people have a very strong, you know, feeling. Please do not harass these people. Please do not spread misinformation about these people. There's nothing wrong with, you know, having an opinion, but to just like, what are they getting harassed on Facebook or something?
I guess I'm sure people are messaging them and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure that's. Tell me about the interview that was canceled today.
So Nick Barris is a very respected reporter, almost 250,000 followers on Facebook. He covers all things in Nashville and then cases statewide. He
covered Summers.
Yeah, he covered Summers' case, covered Joe Clyde Daniels, covers them all. And he had reached out and had spoken to them and was having good conversations and was going to interview them. And then this morning he did an online. They do their news station does like an hour-long program on different things. Well, today it was covering Sebastian's case, and it was a call-in show. And I had actually called in and spoke to him for a few minutes, and he had been talking about how he had been in good communication with the mom and stepdad. And then they were going to interview and suddenly just stopped responding, wouldn't respond to texts, calls, anything. So it seems like they backed out of the interview.
So it's possible that that lawyers have gotten involved. So they go from a massive over week-long search, come up with absolutely nothing, say that they're scaling back and that this has turned into an investigation, or that they're turning it to the investigation aspect. And stepdad and mom aren't commenting on the day before, because I mean that's obviously going to tell a lot. The moments, the day or days leading up to this, what was going on in the household, what was there, I it's hard to not notice things like, it makes sense if we were fighting, or, and he wasn't in any trouble of any kind. The relationship between stepdad and Sebastian will be interesting if he is not found soon and alive and well, and that's our hope, obviously. However, it was really, really strange. The whole, it would make sense if he's in trouble or if he's not in trouble, or, this or that. What is this 3-hour call that people are mentioning in the chat? Do you know anything about that?
So he talked about calling, the stepdad talked about being on the phone with mom at like 9:40, but then he also mentions how he told her to get up. She fell asleep on the couch, according to them, and apparently he told her to get up off the couch and go put the dogs up and head to her bed. So that
after Sebastian's missing,
this was at midnight, so presumably he's in bed, at least to their knowledge. Midnight. The gap they're giving of him missing is 12 to 6, because that's 12 is when she went to bed and 6 is when she went to go get him up for school.
Yeah, so right when the dad had to go to work.
Yeah, so this was right around 12 when he told her to get off the couch. So if they were really on the phone the entire time he's talking about, then that's 2.5, 3 hours on the phone.
On the phone? Oh, what? So this is the night before Sebastian goes missing?
Yes, it's like overnight Sunday, and he went missing Monday morning.
And he was talking to her when?
From, he says, like 9:40, and then at midnight he told her to get up off the couch and put the dogs up.
So he wasn't at home? Is that what you're saying?
That's what he's saying. But at the same time, I'm wondering, what is this get up off the couch? I don't know. That second part is just odd to me. Like, how does he know that how does he know for sure she fell asleep on the couch, or are they sitting on the phone for 3 hours? Something's amiss there to me, but okay, regardless, that's what he said.
Okay, so he's working out of town. So I was assuming, I was assuming that he was at home and then got up and then left for work. Is that correct, or is that not correct?
I'm not sure when he left for work. He hasn't said, but that would be what I think is he got up at some point and left, but I guess before 9 because he's on the phone with her at 9.
After Sebastian goes missing.
So no, Sunday night.
So why would he be on the phone with her if he's at the house? He obviously saying that he's not at the house at all. That he's still out of town in Memphis.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be interesting to find out.
And he put a huge emphasis on the phone logs. That was interesting. When he first went on YouTube and he was talking, he said that he talked to her at 9:40 and then at 12 about getting off the couch. And then he goes, he's like, those logs have been checked out by law enforcement. They've been verified by TBI. Well, determining that you were talking to someone for a few hours doesn't exclude you from doing anything. Your phone was on the phone, that you were on a call. That means nothing, but it was odd that he was so adamant on the fact that they checked his call logs. That seems to be something
for 3 hours.
Seems to be some, well, those call logs seem to be very important to him for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's his alibi. I mean, if he truly wasn't home and working out of town, all that's extremely verifiable. Okay. I mean, that's day one stuff. So golly. Well, yeah, I don't want to speculate, but that's his alibi. I mean, that is going to be, if they can't track him down. God, this reminds me of, I've heard this stuff before.
Yep.
Where have I heard this cookie cutter scenario? Where have I heard this?
Well, I mean, look at the similarities. You have apparently mom calls her husband. He's the one who calls the sheriff's department. So allegedly, he's in Memphis, but yet he's the one that contacts the sheriff's department 3.5 hours away when she's at home. Why would she not just call 911?
Yeah, this sounds just like Summer Wells's case. Even from the press conferences that law enforcement has given. Now, I'm not saying that that's what's going on, but there's just a lot of similarities. Barry Morphew. Yeah, it's like.
Well, the statement TBI gave when they upgraded to an Amber Alert, it was very similar too. They did the same thing in, say, Summer's case when they bumped it up. They said, based on additional investigative information developed during the search for Sebastian, Amber Alert is being issued. That's when they bumped it from a endangered child alert to an Amber Alert.
Yeah, I guess my question is, so it was the weekend. Was he home during the weekend? Was the dad or stepdad home during that weekend at all? Do we know that?
We don't know either way.
How is he not said? I mean, I don't get that. Like that's pertinent information, don't you think?
Well, yeah, I feel like that'd be a lot easier or a lot bigger of an alibi than a phone log is just going, I was at work all weekend.
Well, look, I know there's a lot of people that work out of town and they come home on the weekends and then they leave, in the morning and they're gone all week. They stay in a hotel or whatever provided by their job. And then they come back home on the weekends. How has he not said, yeah, like I'm working out of town, but I've been gone all weekend. He was obviously, or else he would have said, look, I wasn't even around.
Well, it's my thing. Why emphasize? You wouldn't emphasize a phone log. You would just simply say, I've been gone since Friday or whatever. And see, they pulled back the investigation to Sunday. From initially when they were just searching for him, they were asking for footage starting like when he disappeared. They wanted camera footage starting on like Monday morning to spot Sebastian. Well, then later on, they said they want footage starting on Sunday afternoon. Well, why would you pull it back unless you're, I don't know. This is my 0 minutes in law enforcement uneducated opinion that are they confused on when he disappeared? That's just a thought.
Right. Well, I mean, they said goodnight to him or mother said goodnight to him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then went to wake him up for school at 6. Noticed he wasn't there. Searched for about 3 minutes. Heard that one before. Called dad. Heard that one before. But what? This is nothing against married couples. What married couple? What married couple talks on the phone for 3 hours?
On just a random Sunday night.
Well, isn't he home? I mean, that's what I don't get. How that makes any sense? I mean, is he home or is he not? I mean, that's just, I get that he has to leave for work. I get that he's working 3 hours away, but is he home or is he not home? That is the absolute long and short of this. And why would he talk to his wife, who he lives with, on the phone for 3 hours? Is it because he misses her so much? Is it but nothing has happened yet? Did something happen and they were discussing it on the phone? 3 hours is a very, very, very long time.
Well, and she's asleep. See, that's the weird thing. So you talk at 9 o'clock, okay, whatever. 9:30, whatever time he said, 9:40 something. So they're on the phone while she's awake. But then she's apparently asleep because he tells her to get up off the couch and go put the dogs up. So are they still on the phone? Is she just sitting there holding her phone asleep and he realizes and wakes her up? Does he call her again and the call wakes her up? The sleep part is weird to me. How does he know that she's asleep on the couch? How does he know she didn't walk up and walk down the hallway and go to bed? He wakes her up and says to go to bed because she's on the couch and then to put the dogs up.
Yeah.
And he's not home. How does he know? Like, do I sound different on the phone when I'm on the couch versus my bedroom? Like, I don't know. It's just odd to me.
Put the dogs up. I mean,
Yeah, they have dogs, and apparently they made no noise either when he left, I guess.
I have to be missing something here, because if he's saying that, and doesn't he say that he left in the morning for work in that interview? Didn't he say that? Is he saying he left from where? Where did he leave from? His hotel, or did he leave from the house? And now then they're asking about the day before, and he can't comment on the day before.
Yeah, and then see, he changed it and said he's not privy to that. That was big to me. If he can't comment on it, that's one thing. If he's not allowed to know, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Either he's not privy to it or he doesn't want people to be privy to it. I mean, that's possible.
But the first time all he said was, when he was on YouTube, he said he can't comment on it. And so that made me think, well, he knows and he can't say. But then when he was on the news, he said he can comment on it. Then he goes, that's something we're not privy to. I would direct you to law enforcement.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got no footprints, you got nothing. You got the dogs don't hit on a scent. That 3-hour phone conversation that they're allegedly having is going to be, wow. I mean, I mean, that's suspicious.
Yeah, and their stories, the description they give about their home life and stuff starts to sink theories too. When they talk about him having zero online capability, like he has zero access to the internet, not just a little bit restricted, none. He can play on his Switch, and then he has that phone that allows him to like call and take pictures, use a calculator. So if he's got zero internet access, well, that makes it hard for him to have met someone online to get lured out, because that was definitely a possibility. Is somebody got him to walk outside and they took him overnight. But if he has zero access, how is he going to be accessed by someone online? So you take that away, and then, or make that unlikely. Sorry, nothing's off the table, I guess, but makes that unlikely. Then you talk about walking off. Well, if he walked off, there would have been a scent trail, I would think. So then at that point, you kind of push that away. But what does that leave you? I hate to be that guy, but you're marking other things off. Your process of elimination here.
Well, you're not being that guy, because there's a active investigation, not just a search and rescue, not recovery. There's an investigation going on now, and they're canceling. They're canceling interviews. that's never good when you're canceling interviews, especially with reputable reporters. It would be one thing if he canceled an interview with me, I'd be like, yeah, I get it. I understand that. But big time mainstream reporters with a big following, you are not going to want to pass that up. And I almost want to go back and listen to part of that again. Mama Bear, I appreciate that very much. Josh, if you listen to her, she says she's seen him in the morning. Are you talking about the dad? And if Tim Mullen shows up, we're going to have to get somebody to kick him in the nuts. Guy's a pile. I hate it. God, that's funny. Absolutely hilarious.
Oh.
Okay, here. Okay, this is not. Discuss his. Okay, so.
Yeah, and I see a comment, it says autistic children will leave the home they're attracted to water. It happens. Oh, it definitely does. It's the fact that there was no sight of him. It's not that nobody questioned that he could walk off. That's
I haven't
very
picked him up
common.
anywhere on camera. Nowhere.
And no scent track. I mean, I'm telling you, people, I don't know if people realize the sign. I mean, that it's not like a hit or miss with dogs. They don't bring dogs out and go, well, we're hoping that they're good. Like these dogs find scents. I mean, they have a scent trail in Summer's case. And granted, there's zero answers to what happened to her, but there's even a scent trail there. They had zero scent trail.
Yeah,
for
but it's not
Sebastian.
really like, and I think you and I talked about this before. In Summer's case, there's a scent trail, but not much of one. I mean,
no.
it would stop at where somebody would get into a car, kind of like here. I mean, but there's no long driveway here, is there?
Right. No, there's not.
It's right out
It's a
the door.
subdivision.
Yeah.
But then if he got into a car, it'd have to be right there, I guess. Because if it was like some people also talked about he wandered off and then he could have walked away and somebody grabbed him. Well, but if he walked like say 50 feet down and then got picked up, well then you'd think there would at least be a trail to where he got picked up at, unless it was right there at his driveway.
Right. Gotcha. I want to hear what he says it. Give me 1 second.
We're on a constant roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop. It won't stop until he walks through the door.
I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Not anyone.
I know we're about keeping hope alive. I'm sure that's in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna
Always.
come home.
He's gonna walk through that door. And this street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug him, love him, and
That boy's gonna have more friends than he knows what to do with when he comes home.
So here we are, 8 days now searching for him. Walk us through that Sunday night.
This is what I wanted to hear.
So walk us through. We've got so many people who really want to know, okay, how did this happen? So kind of just walk us through that night.
We were out and about that day. We were having a really good weekend. We got home. Everything was pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did. He said, "Good night, Mom. I love you." Said goodnight to his puppies. A little bit later, I wound up going to bed, and when I woke him up for school, he wasn't there.
So in your mind, that's usually around what time? When do you normally wake up? Around 6 o'clock?
6.
So were you instantly thinking something's wrong, or were you like, he may just be, or already in the shower.
I took a
in the living
second.
room.
I took a second and walked through the house looking for him in case he'd gotten up and was trying to get breakfast or something, because he did that sometimes. About 3 minutes in, give or take.
So they haven't given. So he doesn't chime in. They said that they've had a great weekend, but she doesn't specify whether he's there or not, whether stepdad's there or not,
I was on the phone with
which is weird, right?
my
Should be
husband.
pretty
was
easy
like,
to tell
"Can't
one way or
find
the other.
him." He said, "What do you mean you can't find him?" I said, "He's not in the house."
What do you mean you can't find him? He's not in the house. So they were on the phone then.
Yeah, she called him when she realized he was missing. She called her husband when she realized Sebastian was missing.
Yeah.
And so at that point, is that when you call 911 or what's going through your mind?
While we were on the phone.
Fine Summer True says different interview. Mom says she saw him in the morning. Is that the interview with you guys?
It may have been. That's the only 2 interviews I know of, is that one and then this one. So it must have been from that one.
I'll have to go over that one at some point. How long was that interview?
It was a little longer. It was unplanned. They came in chat. Christopher came in chat and then said he would come up on the panel.
Christopher's this man right here.
Yes.
I was like, is he on the other side of the bed? The normal places he may be in the house,
And did you guys ask him if he was at home?
No, he just kind of went on. She was asking most of the questions, but he said that when he disappeared, he wasn't there. Or he was talking about how, like, she called, I guess at least when she realized he was gone, he was not home because she had called him. So I presume he was in Memphis then at that point.
Watch the entire uncut interview for complete context. Okay, well, I mean, wasn't able to find that. Were you, Trevor?
No, this is what they had. They had the 4-minute one, then they had the 4-part one.
Yeah.
He wasn't. So I was like, okay, well, hold on a minute. And immediately after that, we called the sheriff's department and made the report.
I ran all over the house, outside, inside. I looked in every closet.
Within minutes.
How does somebody find 5 people to marry them? I'm not talking about just him. I'm just talking about in general.
They were here. They responded within minutes, and here we go.
You get divorced 4 times. Well, how old is this guy? Like what, 40?
So you said you were on the phone with her, so
Yes,
you were not home.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I was at work. I'm a tower crane operator, and I was working in Memphis at the St. Jude project. So it's, I have an earpiece in that talks to my phone. I have another earpiece in that does the radios. So when she was talking to me,
That's got to be a safety hazard, dude. That's got to be a safety hazard.
it was like, what? I was confused.
Yeah, a crane.
We talked about where he could possibly be, and then we went from there and led to calling the cops, and here we are now.
And within minutes, they're there at the home.
Yes, ma'am.
It was rapid fire. They had cars.
They
They had
lied.
cars from here down to the
main
road, as far as I could tell.
So what's going through both of your minds? I mean, are we panicking? Is it this, oh, I think he's probably at a neighbor's house, or what are you thinking?
My son doesn't run. He's not a runner. He's never run away before.
I mean, I cannot get over the fact that he's not saying where he was. Like, she didn't even mention him the day before. We had a really good weekend. He said, "They're not. Yeah, we had a really good weekend." And then I think, obviously, this is just what I think, that he was home, or else they would have said, or he would have said, "Look, I was working out of town. I'd been out of town. I had nothing to do with anything. I wasn't around," because that would give him a very, very strong alibi, obviously, if he was 3 hours away. And then the fact that there's no camera footage of this, and I would say, I don't know what, 50% of people, maybe more, probably have a Ring doorbell cam of some sort. I wouldn't say it's like a crazy amount, but he's walking through a residential neighborhood barefoot, a 15-year-old boy. You would think that he would be picked up somewhere, somehow, that there would be the only way that people disappear without a trace is if somebody makes that happen, typically. Now, I don't know who, and I don't know if there was any sign of forced entry or anything like that. I have no idea. But him not giving his, well, I left at this time and I did this or this. I'm sure he must have given that to the police, but wow.
I don't know why. I don't know why he walked out that door.
I mean, he's a good kid. He's not a mischievous child by any means. But there's answers to questions that have no answers, or questions with no answers right now that we are searching for desperately. And we just don't have that.
Anything that happened that day that you think back and there might have been a reason he was possibly upset or something outside that could have enticed him to go outside?
The probability of him walking off and not being picked up on any sort of CCTV or, anything or seen by anybody just has to be almost impossible. I'm not saying impossible. I'm saying almost impossible. That kind of, in this day and age, this isn't 1970 where there's nothing to look at. There's tons of stuff to look at. It sounds like they're going through tons and tons of footage, and obviously somebody disappearing, especially a young child, a little boy like that it's just not normal at all.
Was there anything that came to mind?
We've been combing over that day and even the weeks before he left, and I hadn't been able to figure it out. He's that morning he was laughing, he was joking. Everyone we were around that day agreed that he seemed like he was in a good mood. He was behaving.
Is that true, Trevor? One way in, one way out?
Into the driveway?
Just front door? I mean, is there a back door?
I do believe they have a back door.
Or he'd been in trouble, but he hasn't been in trouble.
Well, if he's never ran off before and been in trouble, how would that make? I mean, wouldn't make sense anyway, right? He's never ran off before. But that would make more sense if they were fighting.
So, I mean, the $1 million question: why did he go? And the other $1 million question is how.
What about social media?
Well, how would be pretty simple, right? If he walked off, he just walked off.
Yeah, I mean,
the how is not. It's not like he drove a car or something. I mean, he would have just left
and walk. I mean, he didn't walk off.
No, anyone he could have contacted. I understand he was somewhat of a gamer, or what was he? There was a video game he loved, right?
Minecraft. He loves Minecraft.
That's true. A lot of kids love Minecraft.
The game that he has is not online. He has the Switch.
We don't, because of how social media can be, he doesn't have accessibility to communicate with folks on internet. I mean, we have a firm belief that we just don't feel it right now.
I've never worked with any autistic children. I've been around some, and I don't know that much about people that raise autistic children, but I do know that it is extremely challenging at times with children that require a lot of attention. And that could put a strain on a relationship, but that's what you sign up for when you marry somebody that has a child that has special needs. right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's
His condition is no secret. And for
Right.
you, when you marry a woman that has a child that's on the spectrum, you take that in, the good days, the bad days, and they do. They have good days and bad days. It's a spectrum. I mean, it really is. The word is absolutely used correctly. I mean, it's a true spectrum, and you have to understand that's how it's going to be. Even like I said, good days, bad days, doesn't matter. When you marry somebody that has a kid on the spectrum, you understand that's how it's going to be.
right. Correct.
Capable of having that kind of responsibility. So, I mean, his phone is locked down, his computers, his gaming. He doesn't have a gamer tag. He doesn't have online capabilities with games. I mean,
We've combed every electronic.
I mean, we've cooperated with all the authorities as far as anything they've asked us to provide, we've provided, and still just don't have any answers.
See, that was unled. That was not a led answer right there. They were talking about him being on electronics, and then the stepdad veers off and goes, "We've cooperated and given them everything." She was talking about how they were looking through and how he has no access, and then to me, it sounds like he veers off to again talking about them cooperating. He really wants to make an emphasis on, we've given them this, we've given them that, we've given them this.
Yeah, and whether or not the child, obviously he's autistic, but whether or not the child is autistic, the fact that any child can disappear without a trace, autistic or not, to me, that's not really that important. That, I mean, it is important that, you know, he's out there, he's missing, and he has special needs, he has medicine, he needs all that stuff, but the circumstances surrounding his disappearance don't seem to have much to do with autism, if that makes sense.
And it did more at the beginning, I think, when it was a full belief that he wandered off, because that would play into it, because that could be a cause. Children on the spectrum do below visits cause. But if he didn't wander off, then you take that aspect out of it. That impact, I guess.
Yeah, if he wandered off, he would have been on camera. I mean, all that would make sense is that whoever facilitated him to get wherever he's at now, he had help getting there, or he was forced to do it. And, you know, they're going to be checking for all the cars that came and went. It's just like, it's a mess.
Yeah. And I mean, the search was crazy extensive. I mean, you've got people on foot on the ground, and you've got dogs, and then you've got ATVs, and you've got drones, and then you've got THP helicopter, and then you've got a TBI airplane.
Yeah, and yeah, like I said, it doesn't make much sense that the wandering off theory doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I just think it's weird that he's not open to just giving out that he was home or not. Seems like a pretty easy thing to say. I was out of town all weekend.
You won't say it.
Yeah,
you won't say it.
Right, but if he thinks a call log will clear him, if you were out of town all weekend, that clears you, because, well, there's, you have to be somewhere to do something. If you're in Memphis, you weren't in Nashville. You weren't in Hendersonville.
Right. And you would think that, especially at this point in the investigation, you'd be less worried about being cleared unless you had something to do with it, and more concerned about retrieving the child that went missing in your household, your stepson, as he is referred to.
Did he have any friends that could have possibly contacted him in some way on his phone?
All his friends at school have been questioned, to my knowledge, and none of them knew anything.
So this big question mark. He's vanished.
Yes, ma'am.
And no one can figure out where or why. All right. So let's talk about the relationship involved, because the biological father is very much involved in Sebastian's life as well.
Yes, ma'am. Very much.
Right.
Okay, so remember, we listened to the dad, the bio dad. And with that in mind, we'll listen to this part again really quick.
How would you describe that relationship, the two of them, and the four of you?
It's relatively good. I mean, we talk regularly. He talks to his son on a regular basis, sees him on a regular basis. He's involved in school and therapy. And I mean, he doesn't have any extracurricular activities, but I can tell you now, if he did, his dad would be in the front row.
I mean, two different households, and the communication between the three of us is great. I mean, yes, we're just like every parent. We all have our disagreements, but in the end, we come together as a team and we work and we come up with solutions that as we best see fit. I mean, I'm almost in contact with him almost daily.
I mean, that's, they're not the dream team. 5 divorces, like, chill out, dude.
Yeah.
Or 5 marriages. Good Lord. I can't get past that. I don't know why.
About Sebastian.
I mean, how do you piss 4 people off that bad that that you need to get a divorce by the time that you're 40 or whatever this guy is?
And dude, that's just the people he's married. Think about how
I
many
know.
failed relationships he has.
I know. I don't like it. I'm not liking it.
About Sebastian. How would you describe him?
Sweet, stubborn.
If I went missing and people were saying, how would you describe Josh? Like, the first thing they would say is stubborn, for sure. So I get that. It's kind of like an endearing quality, like, but not, of course. I mean, kids are stubborn, I mean, it's just how it is.
He loves to help. He loves running, and he loves to play his games and his fidgets and Uno.
I would be, Edge says here, could he be covering for her? I would think that it could be the other. If anybody's covering for anybody, and I don't know if they are, I would think that it would be the opposite, right? Would you, Trevor?
Yeah.
I think that she would be covering for him. Maybe she's scared of him. Maybe he's, I don't know. I mean, the fact that they have absolutely no connection with each other, that meaning, he's not holding her hand. When he says, they'll bring them back, they will. I mean, she didn't feel very, very confident in that statement, which, why would she? Her child is missing.
Yeah. Lord, that's one of his favorite games right now. Favorite color is green.
Does he love music?
Oh, God, he loves music.
An eclectic taste. An eclectic.
What does that mean?
I mean,
I know what it means.
Everybody knows Eye of the Tiger.
He used that term the first time too on YouTube.
He likes that where you learned a word.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we got Pearl Jam on one hand, we've got Survivor on the other over here, we've got Taylor Swift, and
he's got a big crush on her.
Josh and Justin.
Yep. Josh and Trev. But thank you. Nice to see you again, Josh and Trevor. 2 sets, sweet guy. Yeah, that's true. She may have been talking about the morning before. I pray he is found. Same thing happened where I lived. He was found in a lake. Yeah. I mean, we're really hoping that that's just not that there's I don't know what a reasonable explanation would be by now, but probably not good.
I mean,
they did hit the water very strong too. I know that they were heavy in the lakes, creeks, ponds, storm drains, everything.
Well,
yes.
He doesn't really get into it anyways.
You mentioned he loved running. So did he love the outdoors at all? I mean, would something outside that was somewhat outdoorsy be enticing to him or pull him outdoors?
He loves, like, when we were in California and the school had this lap thing to gain money. It was a fundraiser. And every year I did this many laps. I did this many laps. I mean, I've got t-shirts where they would write on his back. Every time the kids went around, they'd mark a mark on the back and they'd keep running. And he just had marks all the way across his back. He likes playgrounds.
I remember that, like, in school when it was like track and field day we used to have. I don't know if you guys did that. Did you guys do track and field day when you were in elementary? And you'd run around the track and you'd have that number on your back, and every time you go around, somebody would mark it. And there's people with 20 laps, and I was like, somebody give me a marker so I can let me add a couple here and there.
Everybody turn around. Let me add a few.
It's like, Josh, this is your first lap. Give me that marker.
Dirty.
They said we just started. I have 5 already.
Why is your marker red and everybody else is black? Give me that marker.
Like being dirty.
Yeah, he's not your.
I did get third in the high jump one year on track and field day, but there was only 3 of us that entered.
Tomboy style child where he goes outside and plays in the mud.
He loves animals. He's terrified of bugs.
They gave me a ribbon and everything. My grandpa looked at it. He was like, third. And I go, yep. And he goes, good for you. And I said, thanks.
Oh, yeah.
We won't focus on the details.
He didn't say, what was the field looking like, son?
Okay. I mean, even a fly, and he's like, oh!
Well, I hope to come back on and the whole thing obviously is extremely suspicious and sad, and I hope that there's a quick resolution, although the longer these things go on, the less likely that is, but maybe we can hope for miracles. Miracles happen. A lot of people say, prayer, what good does prayer do? Well, what good does it to have negative thoughts? If let's just hope for a miracle, because that's really what's needed. I would at this point. Anything, and by the way, check out Trev Time on YouTube. Trevor is a fantastic young man, and I'm sorry it took me this long to get you on the lab, and I'm so happy that you did. And I've been on your show a couple times. You've been on After Dark a couple of times, and we'll just get you on here more often. You're a pleasure to have, and you have gotten so much better at just hosting a show, man. You've gotten really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
As somebody who's watched you from the inception, you are doing fantastic work. You have the temperament for it, and you're just a wonderful young man. And I'm proud to call you my friend, and I love you, buddy.
Thank you so much, Josh, and I appreciate it. And you're one of my biggest inspirations on here, and I've learned so much from you. So
don't leave me hanging.
I greatly appreciate that, and love anytime you can have me on, and always my brother.
Trevor. Where'd he go?
Can you hear me?
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay, I don't know what happened. I was sorry, I was trying to respond. Sorry, I was saying I appreciate being able to come up, and always appreciate you, and you're one of my YouTube inspirations. So I always I've learned from you. So if I've gotten better at this, it's because I've been watching you. So much love always, brother, and I appreciate you.
I've given you a couple pointers here and there, right? I mean, I think especially early on, but I mean, you're cruising now, man. You're doing awesome. You bring the facts with reasonable speculation. Yeah, I wanted to hear it twice. That's exactly. I don't know what happened, dude, but I'm glad that I'm glad that you came on, and I appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, Trevor?
Absolutely. Talk to you later, Josh. Thank you.
Bye-bye. So there it was. I appreciate you guys coming out and listening, and let me see where bring this up one more time. So there it is. Sebastian Wayne, Drake Rogers, 15, male, white, brown hair, brown eyes, 5'5", 120 pounds, missing from Sumner County, Tennessee, missing since February 26th of this year. An Amber Alert has been issued on behalf of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian is a 15-year-old white male, 5'5" tall, 120 pounds, with brown hair, brown eyes. Sebastian was last seen February 26, 2024, in the area of Stafford Court and Hendersonville, Tennessee. Sebastian was last seen wearing black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. Sebastian has a medical condition that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance. If you have seen Sebastian or have information regarding his whereabouts, please contact the Sumner County Emergency Communications Center at 615-415-3838 or the TBI at 1-800-TBI find. I'd like to thank everybody for being here, and I hope that this situation gets resolved and that Sebastian is found safe. Safe. Just kids, man. They're just kids. I don't know why people are the way they are. I hope they didn't. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Mm-hmm.